It's hard to believe, but this Viltrox AF 56mm F1.7 Nikon Z mount lens retails for just 139 US dollars. Yet this lens has become one of my new favorites, and not just for portrait photography. Find out why next. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Just a very quick thank you to the team at Viltrox for sending me out this lens to test and review. But Viltrox aren't paying me to do this video, so any sort of findings or opinions I've got of this lens are mine alone. The Viltrox AF 56mm f1.7 comes nicely padded in its box, and you get your manual, lens pouch, front and rear lens caps, and lens hood. First impressions, here's the obvious. It's super small and lightweight. It's an APS-C lens and weighs in at just 187 grams. Has a 52mm filter thread and aperture range is f1.7 to f16. Lens construction is 11 elements in 9 groups, and it has 9 aperture blades. Minimum focus distance is 55 centimeters, and it has a USB-C port at the rear of the lens for future firmware updates. Being an APS-C lens, the 56mm focal length has a full frame equivalent focal length of 85mm. That is perfect for portrait photography. And focusing between objects was smooth and about medium in pace. I'll be using my full frame Nikon Z7 to test this lens out. Now, you can use APS-C lenses on full frame cameras. The only thing is you lose just a little bit, say over half your megapixels. So 45 megapixels will come down to 20 megapixels. But that's okay. At the time of making this video, all Nikon's APS-C cameras are 20 megapixels anyway, so I'm not really going to lose out that much in resolution. Having that 85mm focal length equivalent with wide aperture not only makes this lens awesome for portrait photos, but you can also use it for other things in nature, video, and much more. Just to give you an idea of the type of bokeh you can get with this lens and the differences in bokeh between apertures, I shot these shots of Yoda in the garden going from f1.7 through to f11. And because the lens is so small and lightweight and compact, it makes for an awesome combo on a gimbal for whatever reason. You can see here it's mounted onto my Phaotech Scorp 2 and it balances really nicely. Also, being in low light situations, you can use that wide aperture to get the most amazing bokeh in the background at night, sunrises and sunsets. You can also close down the aperture and get beautiful sun stars. I'm actually going to kill two birds with one stone in reviewing this lens, because my wife reminded me the other day, when was the last time you updated your profile picture on all your socials? I think it's been something like 10 years. So what we did was we took the combo, this lens with my Nikon Z7, we went out to the nature reserve during a sunset. The light was absolutely beautiful, and she helped me get these shots. And here they are right here. Let's go through them. Just before I start going through these photos, I just want to let you in on a little secret. I know I'm a photographer, but I absolutely hate getting my photo taken. I'll take other people's photos for them, but I can't stand being in front of the camera. I'm amazed I'm on YouTube, to be honest. We had this beautiful light coming through the trees in the afternoon. So we started off by doing these shots. Here's about a mid-length shot, and the settings for all these photos, just to save a little bit of time, will be down the bottom of the screen. So one thing when I'm taking portraits, I do love getting a little bit of lens flare coming through. I don't actually mind that. So just pushing in on this particular shot, I mean, even in close-up, you can see that you get this beautiful crisp definition right around my face. So with the Z7, I put the eye detect on, and it actually worked really well. You can see by this little example here, it's got my eye, no worries at all. So we both saw this light coming through and dappling on the back of this grass in this nature reserve, and it was just amazing. I stood in there, you can see there is a little tiny bit of lens flare on my shirt, and just pushing in a little bit, nice and crisp on my eye. It really is amazing. I can't believe, you know, $139 for this lens. Okay, next shot. Now this is what I'm talking about with lens flare. I don't mind a little bit of lens flare. I think it may have been just a little too much in this one, but I think it's kind of cool. It gives the whole thing a little bit of action. Here I am pretending to take a photo with my D750, but in the background you get this beautiful bokeh and those sun rays coming through onto me. And let's just push in, even with that bit of flaring, it's still very sharp on my face. So with this lens, you do get some really beautiful, nice, crisp portrait photos. Yeah, I mean, you can even see the hairs on my hands and arms. It's that clear. The other thing I really like is the glow on my face. Now, granted, the sun coming from that back direction is quite strong. I just had to lift up the shadows a little bit in this particular shot. Like I said, I like to use that sun and use that little tiny bit of flare just to give that little bit of added interest into any sort of portrait shots. The other thing I like about this shot is that beautiful sun dappling on the foliage in the background, and that bokeh is just magic. Okay, so the sun had just set, so we get this beautiful, nice, even light. So we headed into the jungle and we got this shot of me holding the camera. That's the beauty about having that f1.7 aperture on this lens. You can go into more low light situations and you can get shots like this. So we went down to the creek and we ended up doing this little series of shots where I wanted to test out the eye detect on the Z7 with this lens while I walked towards the camera. And I think it worked really well. You can see it captures my eye frame by frame all the way until I'm close to the camera. And on that last frame, you can see that beautiful bokeh happening in the background on that head and shoulders shot. Here's another one of me just coming out of the forest. I've got the D750 in my hand. I'm looking towards the sunset. I'm getting this beautiful glow on my face. But again, this is a very good example of the portrait shots you can get in low light with this lens. In this next shot, you'll see the beautiful bokeh of the forest happening in the background. This is one of my wife's favorite shots of me. Don't know why, but anyway. And as we push in, you can see the focus was tack sharp on my left eye. Here's another example of the beautiful bokeh in the background you can get with this lens. The sun had just gone down and I'm getting this beautiful warm glow on my face. This is the last shot we got on that evening and the sun had gone down. I'm still getting that nice warm glow on my face. You know, I was just thinking, for $139 US, and say you were just getting into portrait photography as a beginner, something like you've got a Z50 or you've got a ZFC or, you know, something like a Z7 even, and you're just wanting to do some headshots for people, things like real estate agents, you know, you've got proms and formals and things like that. This lens is certainly good enough for that, and it won't break the bank. For more information on this Viltrox AF 56mm F1.7 APS-C lens, you can go and check it out at the Viltrox website. I've left you a link in the video description box below. $139 US for this little lens, and it does such a great job. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Never stop creating, and I'll see you next time.